I was born here in St. Louis and lived here till I was in 7th grade. My father died when I was very young, so my mother was having a hard time making a go of it here, so we moved to Oklahoma where we had relatives.
Jon and his mother moved to Enid, where he found a refuge in science and math courses.
I was always into that. I was the kind of kid who would take the clock apart and never quite get it back together.
He decided to major in chemistry at Oklahoma State University. He would go on to work for a graduate degree in biochemistry with a research lab at Whitehurst. But he was also on the infamous softball team started by fellow biochemist and Ag Honors recipient Arlen Richardson.
At first we were kind of a ragtag group, and we sort of played softball to get thirsty to go down to the Anchor Inn, But the last year I was there in '67, we actually won the championship.
Jon completed his PhD in 1967 with a dissertation on the flavoring of roasted peanuts. Later that same year, he started his 30-year career as a research scientist with Anheuser-Busch.
I was always the guy who had to become the instant expert, so I would go to the library and try to figure out what was going on in some area that they were interested in working on. So that was kind of fun too.
One of the biggest projects for him was creating a yeast extract that could be used as a flavoring in other foods.
The projects I was on, sort of from the get-go, was to figure out something to do with the spent yeast and the brewer's grains and other things that were side products from the beer.
The product Jon and his team developed resulted in a new product with more than $9 million a year in sales.
He went on and looked at autolyzed yeast extract, which is what gives food its umami flavoring. So you find it in bouillons, you find it in such a variety of prepared foods. It's incredibly important.
Jon also worked with the Eagle snack brand and Anheuser-Busch to develop products including honey-roasted peanut butter.
It was a technical feat to get this stuff to actually mix and to look like peanut butter. But once that hurdle was cleared, then we could make this honey roast peanut butter that tastes like honey roast peanuts.
Jon also helped manage his family's real estate business, even returning to college in the 90s for a bachelor's degree in business from Webster University. Through it all, he indulged in a lifelong love of cars and motorcycles.
A couple of my friends, also PhDs, rode motorcycles, and they'd get together on the weekends and take a ride and have breakfast or something, and they said, "You ought to come with us." So here we had this motorcycle gang of 3 PhDs.
And when his old softball team teammate Arlen Richardson created scholarships to support the department, Jon was inspired. The Jon A. Newell Endowed Fund supports student recruitment, research, and travel to scientific conferences. Jon also endowed a scholarship which specifically supports women in biochemistry.
Well, it's important because in the STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering, and math, we don't have a lot of women leaders or women entering these disciplines. It's changing, and Jon's scholarship will definitively have an impact on getting more women enticed to come and work in biochemistry and molecular biology.
From his meager beginnings in Enid, Oklahoma, Jon has had a wonderful and outstanding career. And it's great to see through his endowments and support that he's been able to bring people into biochemistry, support students, both at the undergraduate and graduate level, and it really engender excitement and enthusiasm about the kind of work that happens in biochemistry.
Celebrating Dr. Jon Newell, 2023 champion for OSU Agriculture.